Hey everybody, Cam Capital here with a video on AMC and GameStop for Friday, April 23rd. So AMC closed at 1016, up 1.7%. And as you can see here, 5-minute chart, pretty good range on this week. Low 901, high 1065. But today, pretty consolidated on range. And we got this push first thing off the open, first 10 minutes. High 1038. Got one retest of that later in the afternoon. Kind of pushed us lower, but this 10.1 level held into the close. Buyers come in the last couple of minutes, and we convert on that $10 strike price. Going forward here, you see the standard D levels on the 5-minute chart really cupped this thing pretty well today. Giving us a high and low to trade off of. So the neutral line basically got 1, 2, 3 bounces off of it, and then the top acting as resistance. 1 and 2, sending the price lower. You can also see this. These lines do move throughout the day. Obviously, they're on a 21 unit concentration, but you see back here just yesterday, this prior level acted as support. The one standard dev acted as support, failed through it. Now you expect it to act as resistance, and that's exactly what happened today. So if we go out to the daily chart for AMC, you can see here on the triangle, right? So we touched off the triangle here on the daily. So I've drawn these lines on the daily chart, so they're skewed on lower time frames. So if you go to the 4 hour today, it literally looks like the wicks hit the line, act as resistance, but really strong on the daily. And see here we did push right off that 1038 here as well. So we'll have to look and see whether we can break through this descending line of resistance to move higher. Also do have that standard D line at 10.5 acting as overhead resistance, and that 10.5 is an area of interest too in terms of volume. So here I have it, volume's just concentrated on the last 100 days, so really it's just a move up. But if we get up to 10.5, so my cursor's at 10.5 right now, you see on the left we do have higher volume, a little bit lower on it, but the point of control is basically where we bounced off today, $10 level. So we are above a lot of the concentration on volume, but we're going to have a wall on that drop at 10.5 that sellers are sitting at, really going to fight, hold that line there. And you'll see that obviously that area back here from the end of March, multiple days of consolidation in that zone, so there's going to be a lot of sellers and buyers there, so that area is still going to be of interest going into the end of April. So obviously next week with options, end of the month options will come into play for AMC and GameStop both, so things could get pretty volatile. You see here, the end of the month for April, obviously here didn't convert, or we did convert on $10, but still sold off on Thursday. Actually, no, April's options closed on the 26th because there was no Friday, so that's actually out of play. But you see here the 24th, 25th, 26th, all 3 large candles for AMC, so we could see that type of range and volatility for the end of April. So we go out to the weekly chart, you just see that triangle a little bit more. I mentioned this in the prior video, right? So we have this doji kind of spinning top, and usually when you see the doji, it means whatever trend you're in, it could be a possible reversal because there's a lot of fighting going on, and then the next candle could tell you the direction that we're going. So if that rule's holding here, we'll see doji, green spinning top, could look to go higher. One thing on the weekly is that we did have far less volume than last week, 230 compared to 160, so about 2/3 amount of volume. And when you see a counter move in the other direction, you want to see a lot of volume for a breakout. So here, sorry, just to zoom in, looks quite crap. But you see just an example right here, right? So we've been in this downtrend, volume tightens up, and then we break out higher with a huge volume candle, 1.4 billion essentially on the day. So we'd like to see this overhead line of resistance break with a lot of volume going to the upside for AMC next week. So with that, we'll go to GameStop. So GameStop on, I wanted the 5-minute. On the 5-minute chart, so continued weakness again. So we bounced off this rising support line yesterday, but like I said, for AMC, these are skewed as they're drawn on the daily. But you know, we got one push higher off the open. You know, couldn't get back above this 153 level where there's kind of a shelf right there. And then once we sold through 153 on the tax news yesterday, sold off pretty hard. Couldn't get through it. Put in a new low, 144.7, and then we kind of stair step our way back up, run back into 53, wick through it, still can't get above it, sell off, bounce off the 50 EMA, close at 151.18. So GameStop again, only a 1 cent different on the day. That's the second time this week. That's not a typical thing or probably a coincidence. So very interesting for GameStop. But it looks like here, just for now, this 153 area, you know, could be that line of overhead resistance going forward, right? So if I draw basically 153, right? So the line right in here. Last Friday, a lot of consolidation, bouncing plane happened between 153 and 152. And then we got that today where we had, you know, the shelf break yesterday, acting as resistance today. So look to see if that will slow GameStop down going into the future. Go out to the daily chart. Here you see the triangle. So we did wick down through the triangle, sold off down through it, but we did close back above the rising support line. So to me, that says that triangle, or at least a trend line support, has not broken yet. And if I get to show up, you can see that we did close once again above the 50-day EMA, which is at 150.12. So two things still acting as support. You still have the rising line trend line, and then you also have the 50-day EMA, which hasn't been closed under yet in the prior week. So to me, the triangle is still in effect, and we'll have to look and see if how we open tomorrow, or excuse me, for Monday. So if we gap lower, and we'll have to see what consolidation on the day, what price action happens, whether we sell off or we close back above. But be interesting going into next week as the end of the month with the options for GameStop, and especially sitting right at this 150 level. 150 is going to be a favorited strike price, I'm sure. From where we opened, back opened the start of April, basically at $200. So could be very high levels there and be a fight going forward. So here we'll go out to the weekly. So it's kind of similar to what I said with AMC, this spinning top doji last week, very similar, but this week AMC and GameStop like decoupled. So you had this red candle with a gap up. So really, to me, I would say this is still somewhat of an indecision candle. Nope, I'm gonna have to change that because I can't click. Oh, he's just skewed, right? But you see a lot of volume sitting at this 150 level. So here, largest candle of volume is right at 150. So hopefully that will act as support for GameStop. We can springboard higher over the weekend. So I'll get back to the doji rule I was talking about. So doji usually follows what the next one down is, but we did have that gap up over last weekend. So to me, really this is just another indecision bar, right? So it barely got above, smaller range, tightening, and on way less volume. So last week's volume for GameStop 57 million, this week 27 million. So to me, that's just like a lot of indecision, some settling out, consolidation. So really, I think this next week is going to be a pivotal week for GameStop and AMC going forward. So that's what I got for you guys. Let me know your thoughts on AMC and GameStop in the comments. What would your strike prices be for the end of the month? Appreciate you taking time to watch the videos. We'll see you in the next